So
All right. I mean,
I've given them a sneak peek that my sister is here, and then they will be blessed. And we are going on a journey. So we are going
all right.
from where we are now into wholeness. The name of our journey is
Hmm.
healing. So you can
All right.
first we are going to be starting off because sometimes I feel people like to understand that you know what they are going through and where they are coming from. So basically that's up to you. But I've told them, but maybe they want to hear from you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's such a privilege to be here. Thank you so much, Minister Margaret. I celebrate you. Thank you for having me on the platform, and I'm very grateful to God at Him. He's my source, He's my everything. Without Him, I'm nothing. And also, I'm grateful to my husband. I celebrate him so dearly because he's my crown, and if he doesn't permit me, then I'll definitely not be here. Thank you, everybody that will be singing and be joining this team. I celebrate you. Thank you for coming. And thank you for choosing that, okay, it is time. I know that something is wrong with me and it is time for me to get ill. Thank you for knowing that. I'm grateful that God has brought that understanding to you. Thank you for coming. Okay. So once again, I celebrate you, Mr. Margaret. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
today we've been having the conference has been about identity and mind alignment. And today we'll be talking about healing. And what I titled it as healing from family wounds, a pathway to transitioning to a better version of you. I think that was what you sent me. So healing from family wound, a pathway to transitioning into a better part of you, a better version of you. So in alignment with the conference we've been holding, I would like to say that maybe somebody is wondering that identity, mind alignment, how is healing, how is it related and stuff like that. I want you to know that after all has been said and done, and you've been motivated, you know who you are working on your mind and everything like that, there is still a tendency that you are still stuck. You don't know, you know that okay, you are supposed to do something, you know you are supposed to move a certain way, but you really don't know how to go about it. You just know deep within you that something is holding you back. You just know that something is not right somewhere. You just know that let me even tell you, let me start by telling you this. There are times that a lot of people channel their energy into becoming a better version of themselves, and they put so much work, so much effort into doing it. But at the end of the day, there's still this vacuum in their heart, knowing that something is wrong. Apart from the vacuum, knowing that, okay, I need God and all, there is just this weakness in their heart that makes them so sure that I think something is wrong with me, but they can't figure it out. So they keep thinking maybe because they are not successful, and they keep doing things that okay, if I do this, maybe this will be it. I'm channeling my energy to becoming a better version of me. I want to love God more. I want to work more. I want to make more money. I want to be a source of impact to people. And they keep doing things, keep doing things. But there is still something there that you are not just sure about. You are just wondering that what is wrong. And you really cannot pinpoint it that this is the way it is. So that is the reason why it's very important for us to heal from the emotional wound that we have. And one thing that's very peculiar about this emotional wound is if I fall down today and I sustain injury, it is visible for me. I can see it that okay, this wound, I think
Yeah.
things are getting worse. I think things are not getting better. This wound is not healing. I can cry for help. But when it comes to emotional healing, you don't know. In fact, you still go about your normal life, go about speaking to people, go about doing your work. Everybody's just, we all just hide under makeup and clothes, and we believe everything is fine. And in the real sense of it, we have battles going on in our mind that we don't even know how we found ourselves there in the first place, and we are struggling to know how to get out of it. So that is why it is very important for you to heal from this one, so that you can become a better version of yourself. And during in the process of the journey, you are able to identify who you really are, and every other thing cannot begin to fall in place. So that's why it is very important that we do that. So our text today will be from Psalm 68, 5 to 6. A father of the fatherless, a defender of widows. Is God in his holy habitation? God sets the solitary in families. He brings out those who are bound into prosperity, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. The rebellious dwell in a dry land. And also Isaiah 53, 4 to 5. He has bore our grief and carried our sorrow. Yet we esteem him stricken, smitten by God and afflicted. He was wounded for our transgression. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. All like a sheep have we gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. So those are the backup for today's topic, and every other thing we'll be saying will be in alignment to this. So the first text we read shows that God set the solitaries in family, which shows that we really cannot do without a family. Either we like it or not, we have to belong to one family or the other. And the funny thing is, or the good thing is, we cannot really choose our family. We just find ourselves there. But the
Yes.
truth of the matter is, now that we have found ourselves there, we really don't have any excuse. We cannot continue to say, okay, because this happened, because that happened to me, and all, and that is what will now be an excuse for you. Okay, fine, something happened to you, something happened to me too. How long do you want to keep giving that excuse? That excuse will not be valid.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, if you're still keeping that giving that excuse for before you married, after you married, do you want to give the same excuse to your children that okay, it was really, do they send you?
I said you end up bleeding on others that didn't even hurt you.
Exactly, you bleed on people that didn't wound you. That's the truth. So it is very important that yes, you have found yourself in that family, and there is nothing you want to do about it. You can't change your family. It's just there. So the best thing is for you to know how to bring out a better you out of the situation that you have found yourself. Very simple. One of the reasons why healing of the soul is very important for us is that it is a way to be free from the shackles of the devil. Because at times the devil also makes the stuff we have in our soul to be strongholds. So sometimes the strongholds we are even fighting are not family battles. Yes, family battles exist, but they are strongholds of the mind. There are strongholds of imaginations that have come to your mind because of your some experiences that you've had. So it is very important that before the devil make it a stronghold for you, you break free from the shackles of the enemy and you begin to do the things that God wants you to do. So one of the things that it's been said that family wound is one of the most excruciating pain that exists. I think they said the most painful thing is the loss of a child. When a mother loses a child, that's the most painful thing. But family wound is also one of the things that is very painful. But the bad thing is we don't even know because we don't see. If I'm stabbed now and I'm bleeding, I know something is wrong with me. But if anybody wounds me, if I'm bitter against someone, I just know that we are not cool. I'll just think that it's because we are not cool. We are not just cool at that time. But no, beyond that, something has happened to me. So it is very
Yeah.
important that we understand that it's a very painful thing, one of the deepest pain we have, and that's because number one, it was at a sensitive stage in our life, the stage where you are still developing, the stage where you are still depending on people to give you love, to give you care, to trust, and to give you
Yeah,
everything
we
you
are
need in
most
life.
vulnerable.
Exactly. So that point where you are very vulnerable, where you are just yourself. You are just the way you are. You are still developing. And at that point, because you are very vulnerable, even when you don't mean it, it just gets to you. It gets at you, and you are shocked. Like, am I really feeling this way? So number two, the second thing that makes it very painful is that it is inflicted on you by the people you love and trust the most. Nobody ever imagines that my husband will hurt me. Oh, okay, maybe now you're married, I know my husband is going to hurt me. But when I was growing up, I would never imagine my daddy will hurt me in a way that would be so painful. Or my mom will do something to me in a way that would be so painful. They are the people that I love the most because I was born into that family. I love them the most. I trust them the most. I'll most likely do what they tell me over what any other person tells me. So if the same people are now coming to injure me, oh, that's so saddening. Like I cannot really, really contain the experience now. how it
Yes.
feels, it's so saddening, and you are just wondering how do you go about it. You just know that you are wounded. Let's just put it like that. Then number three, I've been saying that over and over again, is that it is not visible. It is when you see that something is obviously wrong with you that you seek help. But now that you are just guessing, you are not even sure. You are even thinking that maybe I'm the one overthinking my issues. Maybe I'm the one overthinking things. Because it is not visible. So it's one of the reasons why the pain is left untreated for a while, and the longer you leave it, the more it decays. That's
Hmm.
just it. But the thing about family homes that makes it so unique is that the more you cover it, the more it decays. If it's a physical wound, when you cover it, it heals. The emotional wound, the more you cover it, the more it decays. Sometimes you feel like, okay, wait, I'll just live above it and assume that I'm fine. But it's not so. Today, the case study will be examining is the life of Joseph and the life of David. I'm sure that maybe somebody has never even seen it in that light. Are these people really wounded? Then you just come along with me. You will know that they also suffered from family wounds. I'm not just coming here to speak psychology or something. I'll be showing
Yeah.
you explicitly from the Bible that this thing really exists. It
Yes.
exists. Praise God. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Okay, number one, I'll start by saying, mentioning the forms of family wounds that we have. And I'm going to tell you how my case study, which category my case study fall into. Are you with me? Okay, so the
Yes.
first one I'll be talking about is father's wound. That's a form of family wound. If you ever
Hmm.
heard the word of daddy issues, I think it's
Hmm.
basically called daddy issues or father's wound, as simple as that. But I think daddy issues is even more popular
Yes.
father's wound. This is when the wound is coming directly from your father. Your father has done something to that affects you emotionally, and you are not able to open up. You just keep nursing it. You know within you that you are wounded. You know that there is this action he has taken has affected a part of my life, but I don't know how to go about it. So when the hurt, the pain, the emotional issues is coming directly from a father to a child, that is when it is called father wound. And
Okay.
my case study here is David. Okay, I'll explain that later. The second form of father's wound or family wound is mother's wound. We have it on
Hmm.
the other side. We have mother's wound too. We have a lot of women that have abandoned their children. We have a lot of women that have done things to their children that you would even be wondering that I thought a mother is supposed to be this. How come she's like that? So there's some people that if you tell them that my father wounded me, they say, wait till you see mother's wound. What do you think you are? What do you think you are doing? Mother's wound is not painful and stuff like that. Although I think we have father's wound more common. Mother's wound is more
Yes.
common than mother's wound. Well, we also have
Yeah.
mother's wound. And my case study for that also is David. So literally,
Hmm.
I'll just say father's wound, mother's wound. David has both of them. So let's turn our Bibles to Psalm 27, verse 10. Okay, so David said, when my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me. I forgot to write this down. There was also a part of Psalms that wrote that iniquity and my mother give birth to me
Psalm
and stuff
50,
like that.
51.
So we can see
Psalm
from here that
51.
sometimes when we read Psalms, we forget that this is the lifestyle of somebody. He is writing out of pain or out of joy or out of what he feels. So sometimes you just read it like when my father or my mother forsake me, I know you will never leave me. No, this is somebody's experience. This is somebody's
Yes.
Psalm. This is what your Psalm. This is
Hmm.
somebody's Psalm. This is what he is going through at that time. So
Yes.
David suffered for father's wound, suffered for mother's wound. And although we do not have the story explicitly stated in the Bible that this was what happened, but studies have shown that what happened was that the mother of David committed adultery, and that was how he gave birth to David. So David was not raised, his father sent him away, the mother too was not there. So David practically grew up in the wilderness. So that wilderness that he was in, it wasn't his choice, so to say. It wasn't like, okay, let me just go to the wilderness. He's the last born of the house for Christ's sake. He's supposed to be enjoying. You know how last born feel now. It's supposed to be enjoying and all those things. But he was
Yes.
sent to the wilderness, doing errands, doing everything, facing lion, facing bear, and all of those stuff. So it was because something happened to him, because his father and his mother forsook him, that made him enter into the wilderness. As simple as that. That was what happened to him. So that was why I would say David practically suffered father's wound and mother's wound. Then the third form of family wound, sibling rivalry. Case study here is Joseph, and that's from the book of Genesis, chapter 37, verse 3 to 4, rather. It said, now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age. Also, he made him a tunic of many colors. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. So we have that also, sibling rivalry. And some people say that sibling rivalry is more common where we have a polygamous family, but
Yes.
also we also have it in a monogamous family. Is it something that is usually the last one that made the father take so much interest in him? It's not his fault, but he just found himself in him. And the rivalry was so much that what did they do to him? They sold him off to slavery. That's deep. Like that's a lot. The rivalry was so much that they just said, but we are going to sell you off. They sold him off, and that was it. They don't even care. They said, okay, we just tell our father that something has killed him. And this guy, because of them, because somebody just hated you, because my elder brother hates me, so he sold me off to a land that I don't know, to suffer. Oh my God, I can't imagine how painful that is. So now I want us to talk about how did I get here? Why am I here? How did I find myself in this shoe? What are the causes of this father's wound? So now that if I'm talking about family wound, now we can now relate it depending on your circumstance. If your circumstance is that if you with the way I've explained, you now know that okay, I think I'm talking from father's wound, or I think I'm talking from mother's wound, or my phone is still rivalry. And then you will now know how you find yourself in this. So the number one cause of family wound is abandonment. And David is a perfect example of that. He was abandoned by his parents and so what happened. If there is anybody here that due to one reason or the other, your father left you or your mother left you, or probably you were even a child out of giving birth out of wedlock, and because of that you were abandoned, I want to tell you that something has been done to you and you have to get it fixed. That's just it. As innocent as that may sound, that I don't know anything, but it's not my business. You know something is wrong and you have to heal from it. So if you've been abandoned, you want to check. If you want to watch out if you're already manifesting some of the signs I'm going to talk about. So number two, another deep cause of family wound is troubled or failed marriages. Oh my God, when you see divorce, when you see failed marriages, when you see marriages that are going through a lot, your heart will bleed because you don't just know. You are just like, God, what is going to become of these children? Before I came for this live meeting, I was in a bridal shower of a friend. We had a bridal shower for my friend, and I just entered feeling to go before the meeting started. And then I was someone was explaining to us, she's a teacher, and she was telling me some of the things they face in school because of these children. And she was narrating to me how that a father and a mother got separated, and the woman does not have custody of the children at all. So the father that has the custody of the children does not even know how to go about things because he has not been the one with them all his life. So he's just trying to. So most times she says the child just sits down with school and we just do like this. We just fidget and he's always absent minded. I'm like, that is it. Troubled marriage, failed marriage. Even me, using myself as an example, I remember when I was in JSS2. I was in JSS2. Something happened in my home. My parents married, and it was such a tough time. I just sat down really some days ago and I was thinking that wait, if these people were not prayerful people, I don't know how they survived this season. Like if my parents that were obviously praying people, if they could go through a season as hard as this, I'm not sure if they are not praying. I can bet you that it was only prayer that came to them. Because my dad had this habit that no matter what happens, even if everybody reacts with we still come together and pray. Although Jen, I used to be like, what's wrong with this man? He just got everybody angry and we are still praying to God. God cannot answer our prayer and stuff like that. Yeah, Baba knows what he's doing. because it's a
and,
prayer that
and I
everything
feel
is settled.
And I feel that's more like a catalyst. The structure of calling everybody to pray, regardless of what
Exactly.
was going on, was like a structure that God just took advantage to repair. Wow, amazing.
Yeah. Yes, it was just that. And the next day I got to school that day, and during our break, I just went to one corner. I just sat there. I think maybe that was even the first time I spoke in tongues. I just sat down in one corner and I was just crying. I wanted to talk to God. I didn't know how. I was
Hmm.
just lost. I was just crying. I was just saying what was coming to my mind. They had to go call my teachers, and they were like, my teacher, when my teachers came and she said, "Oh, she's praying, just leave her." But I wanted to pour out my heart to God. I don't know what was wrong with my parents. I don't know why they are acting this way. So imagine if there was no structure of prayer. Imagine if things were even worse than it was then. Imagine how much it would have affected me. That day I could not. I was so I didn't concentrate in class. Now imagine if it was a prolonged issue. How it's going to affect my academic, affect everything. So one of the leading causes of family wounds is failed marriage or troubled marriage. So if you have experienced any of these, you want to check out probably maybe you are wounded or not. Very important. Another cause of family wound is abuse. Hmm. It is a very terrible thing for a child to witness the father abusing the mother or the mother abusing the father. Verbal abuse, financial abuse, domestic violence, what other form of abuse do we have? Every emotional abuse. It is a very,
Even
very terrible
sexual
thing.
abuse.
Even sexual abuse. Thank you.
We should not leave that one
Hmm.
out because it's prevalent in these times. We shouldn't. It's like a breach of trust.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like a breach
Even
of
sexual
trust.
abuse. Hmm.
Ma?
So if as a child you have witnessed any form of this abuse from your parents, you want to sit down and examine your life. Because sometimes you don't even know until you start replicating them.
Yes.
It's just as simple as that. So if you have witnessed abuse, you have to calm down and ask yourself if you're not truly wounded. Then another cause of family wound is death. Oh my God, I've seen it when people die, how it makes the family just come out. Yoruba people have an adage that says, "Kulo Bayolaje." Okay, it's death that makes a wealthy home empty. That
Yes.
means that once the breadwinner or the leader of a home is gone, everywhere, everything just looks around. So some people have been wounded because of death. Imagine a person that lost a father at a very young age. You have seen the father, you dreamt that, oh, this is how my relationship with my dad is going to be.
A few weeks ago, a colleague of ours lost her dad. She has been looking
Okay.
for a job. So, fortunately, she got the job. Then, the man wasn't even sick, he just died. And it really affected her. Thank God that we were sort of like bonding and everybody was trying to put in their efforts. But you just notice that sometimes she sits behind me. She'll just sit, go quiet. The next thing she starts crying. Sometimes you'll be looking at you, but she's gone. And she has to pass exams. And she has to manage the dreams and the vision and the aspirations of her wanting to give back to somebody that has been pivotal in her life. So this one, I can definitely relate because I can't even imagine what they go through.
So it's a lot, it's a lot. And the next one is also like it, which is grief. Death and grief, they are quite related. When some people start to grieve the loss of a loved one, they begin to question God. I feel like, God, if you are faithful, why did this person die? This man was a good man. This man was serving you. This man was going to church. And you know all of those things. And the question goes on and on and on. And you're like, God, why? And all of those stuff. And that way, it could also be a form of wound. One of the things that makes people wounded emotionally. Another form is parenting style. I'm going to join you to the last one. Parenting style and harsh treatment. Although for the harsh treatment can be from anybody. It could be from even your sibling. You know, we talked about sibling rivalry. It could be from your sibling. It could be from friends. It could be from everywhere. But now within the family, it could be from extended family. Maybe your grandma just hated you for no reason, and she was always treating you harshly. So that's that about that. Then parenting style. This is also a lot. As much as our parents are trying to disciple us, to bring us into the way of God, to train us in a good moral way and stuff like that, parenting style has also caused a lot of people to be wounded, because there are times that they are trying to achieve a goal, but you don't know how to go about it. So because you don't know how to go about it, things go wrong at the point, and you see a lot of children, they are wayward, and they just tell you that my parents caused it. I didn't want to be like this, but then too, they didn't know better. If they knew that we were going to go this way, maybe they wouldn't do it. So things happen, stuff like that. So those are the causes of family wound. So now let's talk about the signs. Although from the way I've been enlightening, you'll be able to know already that hey,
Yes.
I'm wounded and stuff like that. So now one of the signs, how do I know that I am wounded? Is number one, not feeling loved. If after every time you just feel like nobody loves me in this world, I'm always by myself. If I enter a group, they will leave me, that group will not work. You know, there's a way our head always calculates things, even when it's not true. Now you begin to think that this thing is true. Even when people love you, you will not see all the love that everybody is
It
pouring on you.
amplifies or
Apart
it
from that thing that
adds.
exactly, exactly. So it's just like that. If you are beginning to feel like nobody loves you and all, you might want to go back and check your background to see what is wrong. Another thing is sensitivity to past events. If you are very sensitive to some of the events that have happened in your life, you remember them like every now and then. Or if any event is not coming that wants to look like something like that, you're already defensive. Something
Mandela
is wrong.
hijack.
Yeah, something is wrong. For example, let's say somebody that was abused, sexually abused. The moment you see guys, you remember what happens. But the moment you see guys, you put off a defensive shield. You just want to shield yourself. Or the moment, even if a guy just says, I like you, like not even romantically, just I just like your person. You are sensitive, like, don't come close to me. What are you saying? If you just see event that looks like what you've been through, then you are defensive, then you might want to check. You're probably wounded also. Another thing is anger towards God. And I talked about that when we were talking about grief, which is not even restricted to death alone. I tell you, they're just angry towards God that God, why will you put me in this kind of family? Why will you put me in a place where things are not working? Why would you, and you need to see any other thing in your life apart from the things that are not working, that are angry about towards God because of failed marriage or because of harsh parenting stuff like that. So if you see that consistently in your journey in life you've been angry towards God, you want to sit down and observe that I think something is really wrong with me. Another thing is lack of tolerance. Ash. Some people are very, very irritable. It's not their fault. It's really not their fault. You want to just sit down and examine things beyond what you can see. They are going through a lot in their mind, so just let them be. Just let them be. Fix your life, and as much as you can probably advise them to seek counseling, seek therapy, and stuff like that. Okay.
This
Also,
seeking therapy and all that you're saying,
okay.
as it is not widely accepted in Nigeria. And I don't know
Hmm.
why. I feel this is a time where we have to make something like that. Thank God for our pastors. Thank God
Hmm.
for how they feed us with the word and everything. I personally feel that there is a limit. There is where we can bridge the relationship between our pastors and a therapist, because really, some people in Africa, to be precise, are going through a lot, and they need experts in the field to help them understand themselves, their emotions, and a lot of things that are. Please help me loud it, ma.
I'm so grateful for what we are having in Ghana. At least the concept of mental health is not new anymore. Although we still have a lot of hiccups here and there, but at least it's
Yeah.
now coming into light. Psychologists here and there, mental health therapy here and there. But with time, I'm trusting God that it's going to be a thing that we now have mental health practitioners almost everywhere. I'm sure if you just put mental health or psychologist on Google now, you will see the ones close to you. As much as our pastors are doing the work, the truth of the matter is they can't do all the work. If pastors could do surgery, maybe they would have been doing it. They are not omnipotent. They are not God. So we won't put all the works on them. So thank God for them. Thank God for that they didn't really help him, because without them, maybe some people would have gone so bad. But it's not only our pastors that will do the work. We have psychologists, we have mental health therapists, and if you feel like God is calling you to that field, please don't shy away. Don't worry, we are coming. We are coming. We are coming for us. By God's grace. So
Amen.
another one, another cause of another sign is resentment. If you resent people, that is quite similar to irritability. Well, maybe not exactly, but there are times that you just resent people. There are people that just hate guys because they feel like all guys are the same because of what their parents have done to them. Or do you even know that, oh God, this is so sad to talk about, when we have siblings raping siblings now. And imagine somebody going through that kind of thing. There is nothing you want to tell me. The person is going to hate guys. Because this is the person I trust the most. This is the person that, what are you talking about? Whew, God have mercy. Let's
It
just end it
hurts.
there. Is the lens. Then another thing is the subject of addiction. This is very common, and people don't know that it is one of the manifestations of family wound. Something happened, and the pain is so deep in my heart. I just want to look for something that will take the pain off. And before I know it, because the pain persists for long, I'm already addicted. That's the root cause of addiction. Addiction simply happens because you are trying to cover up a pain, to relieve a pain, to medicate a pain. But you are doing it in the wrong way. As simple or as harmless as movies are, you could be addicted to movie because that was the only thing that came to your mind. Maybe when you lost someone, it was the only movie you could do to distract yourself. And before you knew it, even if you are, where is the all this place? Even if you are in church, it's not, it's really beyond you. So that's how it happens. So,
Yeah.
but that's why people now get addicted to smoking, get addicted to. I think drinking is even a lot. If you ask a lot of people that drink, there is a story behind it. And the one that we also don't always talk on again is workaholism. It's part of
Yes.
addiction. People are addicted to work, addicted to success.
Mm.
Because when things happen, they just want to channel their energy and be like, okay, let me just go and
Use
work.
it as
Let
an
me
escape mechanism.
Exactly. Let me just escape from everything that is happening. And before you know it, things are getting so bad that if you're not out doing it, something is happening. If you want to withdraw, you're having withdrawal symptoms already. So it is very simple that we also know, it is very important that we also note that addiction can be a symptom of family wound. Also, when you are critical about relationships, you see some people, I don't take crap, I don't take any form of nonsense. You do something like this, I cut you off. You do something like this, I cut you off. When you see people that are cutting off people anyhow like that, you want to watch out for them. Because the truth of the matter is not, that's not the way it's designed to be. We should be able to forgive. We should be able to let go. So but when things happen, imagine if I've been hurt by my father or I've been hurt by one of my siblings and it's so bad. And anybody is now coming to this that kind of thing to me again. I will cut you off. Like you cannot kill me. I've gone through a lot already. You cannot kill me. You know that another person is now coming and he's not even coming to do that kind of thing. You're already suspicious. So you have built a shield around yourself. And you're like,
Yeah.
just there. Don't come near me. And like that. So if you are critical about relationship or you are suspicious of people, you might also want to check probably you are wounded. And the last one is repeating pattern. My spiritual father, Apostle Femi Lazarus, used to say this, that the fact that you ate something doesn't mean that you won't do it. You can
Yes.
eat the pattern so much and at the same time you end up repeating it. Because you don't know another way. You don't know a better way. You think you take it, but somehow it has entered into your soul that naturally you don't begin to act it out. I don't like the way my mother treated me, but you didn't see any other good way. You've not cultivated a good way. So when you're raising your daughter, you're treating her that same way too. I don't know who was talking about it sometimes, and the person said I have to call my daughter and tell her that I don't want to treat you the way my mother treated me. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to do this to you. I'm not going to beat you and stuff like that. And she said there was a day she was very, very angry. She wanted to do it. Our daughter just came and told her, "Mommy, you're already doing what you said you did." And that was what calmed
Hmm.
her down. She was like, "No, I need to think about this. I said I did this thing truly. So how come I'm already doing it?" So she said that became like a form of pressure for her. But like, no, I'm not going to repeat pattern. So if you're already repeating patterns you don't like, then my dear, you are wounded. You need to watch out. Let me just go straight to how do I heal? Because we've been talking about what's happening and everything. So it's very important for us to know that there is a way out. Yes. If you have been wounded, I assure you there is a way out. So number one very important thing for you to do, even if you visit a therapist, this is one of the things that you're going to do. Think deep, flashback, and unveil all palatable experiences you've had. Just intentionally sit down, think deep, all those experiences. The truth of the matter is, because you are trying to avoid it, you are telling yourself that you've forgotten them, but you have not. It's still there. I think it's that I've forgotten that I've moved past it. The, you know it. So if you sit down now, it will even take you 5 minutes for you to relive those experiences in your head. So it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine to scream while you are reliving those experiences, when you are obeying them. It's okay to scream. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. You might even want to,
Yes.
oh, you just want to burst. Go ahead. That's where your healing is starting from. Go ahead.
Yes.
Express yourself the way you know how to. Do everything that you think is not right. Just do it. Express yourself. Let it go from your heart. Just let it go. So that's the first step to getting healed. You know, even when you visit the therapist just sits down and asks you, narrates your experience, and she wants to know what you have gone through. She's asking you to explain before she even brings up any conclusion point. She wants you to
Just
really
listen.
know. That's why you'll be crying. You now start to cry. You now start to cry.
Yes.
I remember when I was learning about all these family rooms and all this emotional healing there was an exercise that we had, and our lecturer told us that she's a mentor, she's a dear mentor too. He told us that, okay, that day, as I did, I was already getting healed of my own wound. But I didn't know that God had healed me. I did some things. So I didn't know that God had healed me before that day. So it was that day that confirmed it that it was the healed. Because when I looked at other people's experiences, when I looked at their faces, I saw how their faces was. But I was not feeling that way.
Hmm.
In fact, when she started the exercise, she handed all of us a bundle of TV each. Because she said, I know people are going to tear up. Kai, you need to see the way people were tearing up. Look,
I
I
feel
wasn't there, so at the point, I'm with you.
because I feel that sometimes why it's harder for some people is because they've shut them up so much so that they've made their voice seem like, or their cares, their fears, they've been unable to vocalize what went wrong. Like,
Mm,
it's just like you going to meet your mom that, okay, mom, this was what went wrong, or dad, this was what went wrong, and they just, come on, keep quiet there. You know, African parents,
mm,
go and read your book, or they just shun you and make you feel like your cares, your fears are
mm.
irrelevant, and that is something that is changing now, because now
Yeah,
even my nephew will tell you
exactly.
that, Auntie Neka, I don't like what you did. They are not vocal. Yes, they are not vocal about their and that's what makes them children. So
Mm.
sometimes we tend to grow up faster because we're not given the privilege of expressing our emotions and them validating that it is all right for us to feel the way we did. Yes. So yes.
So that was awesome. Thank you for adding that. Children are more vocal these days, so it's one of the things
Ah.
that we upcoming parents we need to prepare for because in our days you dare not talk.
But we have
You dare
to.
not. You ask me a question, you ask the question back. Are you kidding me? So if you want to cry, cry. If you want to bust out, bust out. So that day, people were literally crying, and the funny thing is, I was part of the youngest people in the class. So I was saying grandmas that their fathers were even dead, that their mothers were even dead. They're up so badly. And I'm like, no, even now that you become a grandma, this thing is still there. It's not as simple as that. It's still there. It's
Hmm.
still there. So that's number one. Relive the moment, unveil the experience, pour out yourself. You wanna cry, cry. It's one of the ways you're going to get healed. Number two, if you can, speak to those who hurt you. If you can't, speak to those who hurt you. Although this time, after you have relieved the moment in your head and you are sure that gradually something is happening to you, that is why you can now proceed to speak to the people that have hurt you. If you are a victim of maybe your uncle raped you or something, if you still have chance, but please don't do it alone. Tell somebody to come with you. Then tell the person that maybe not even with you in the room personally, but just make sure that somebody is around in case of to protect yourself and stuff like that. Tell the person that you hurt me so badly. This is how much this would have affected my life. I didn't know and stuff like that it was going to affect me this one. Talk to the person. There's a way that when you confront the person that hurt you, it brings peace to your soul. So in situations where you have gone to the person, please go ahead
Yes.
and talk to the person. But do not be in haste to talk to the person. No, there are some things that has to have happened before you speak out to the person. Know that your healing process has started. Because at times you just go ahead and talk to the person and confront the person, and before you know it, the person might even end up giving you back, and you end up becoming
Yes. And you
worse
end
than
up reading the relationship more. Mm.
yeah, more than it has been. So very important. So number three, very important that we forgive. Matthew 6 verse 14 to 15. The Bible says that forgive us our trespasses and to forgive those who trespass against us. You cannot hold on to this thing forever. It is for you. Forgiveness is for you. You can't hold on to it forever. Forgive so that you can heal. It is very important for you to forgive this person. Forgiveness is not a day thing, it's a process. But gradually, you know that if you are truly forgiving this person, you'll begin to heal. Because you are the one that you are holding this grudge. You are the one that the thing is affecting, more than it's even affecting the person that has hurt you. So it's very
True.
important for you. Number four is to talk to someone. You know, in the book of James, verse 5, 14 to 16, the Bible was saying that if there is anybody that is hurting amongst you, let the person call the elders of the church, let them pray for him and stuff like that. So it's important that you talk to someone. This is where the concept of a therapist also comes in. So if you can afford a therapist, also do that. Okay, so at this point, I think I should just chip this in if I'm permitted. That before the end of this year, I'll be releasing a book in this line about family road, how to heal and everything. And one of the things that is going to be happening is that you are going to have access to a therapy. You have therapy session that you can do by yourself. And I am doubly sure that if you do that, what we have in the book, if you take those actions, you will even get better before seeing a therapist. And you don't have to see a
Thank you.
therapist urgently anymore because you would have been ill. But if these are in levels, if at the end of the day you still not feel like you need to see a therapist, then after doing those exercises, it will be easier for your therapist to even work with you because already
Yes.
some things have already changed. So it's
Foundations have
very
been
important.
laid.
So when the book is out, watch out for it. And I don't know exactly yet, but I'm
Me,
working
I've
on
been
it. I
waiting. You
know
know,
that
I've been
it's
waiting for
healing
the
from.
book. Me,
I
I've
know,
been
right?
waiting. Eh.
I know, right? But I know that it's definitely about healing from family wounds.
Yes.
As God will have it, before the end of the year, it will be released by God's grace.
Amen. I can't wait.
Okay. So number five, pray. You cannot
Yeah.
overemphasize this. The same scripture that says that let the elders come and pray for you. You are sick. It's just the truth. Sorry, I'm not abusing you, but it's the truth. You are sick. You are not fine emotionally. So let them come. Let them pray for you. Prayer works wonders. Prayer brings you into the reality of what Christ has done for you. This thing is part
Yes.
of the finished work of Christ. This is part of your inheritance in Christ. You have to lay hold on it. You have to grab it and live in the reality. That is what Christ wants for you. The scripture we read talked about healing. By his stripes we are healed. Emotional healing is part of it. It's not just headache, it's not just malaria. Emotional healing is part of the finished work of Christ. He died on the cross that you may be healed, that you don't have to suffer these things again. Very important. Pray and pray and pray and pray. Pray the word of God. Get scriptures that speak about healing. On my channel, I have a video that prays specifically for healing, and I quoted a lot of scriptures that talk about healing. So if you are going through it, you can check out the Lady Faith channel, and I'm sure you'll be healed. Just say those scriptures, pray those scriptures that have to do with healing, pray them into your soul until it becomes your reality. And you will be healed.
Yes.
Very important. Oh God, by His word, God, your word says that you are going to heal me of these things. You desire to heal me,
Mm.
and because I'm also willing, here I am now. Heal me. Very important. Then number six, Be patient with the process. It is very important that you are patient with the process. Romans 5:3-4,
Yes.
Hebrews 10:6. Very important that you are patient. Um, Studies have it that if you have what's it called, breakup. If you have an outbreak, you need to break up. It takes 6 weeks to, I think, 6 months to heal. So if breakup is costing you 6 weeks, 6 months to heal, depending on individual, no, also that it will not be healed in a day. If it is emotional wound that has been there, that you have been nurturing, that you have covered, that is already decaying, it won't be
Hey.
healed exactly. It won't be healed so far. So be patient.
Yes.
Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. Be very, very patient with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be patient. Enjoy the process. Know that God is with you. And finally, the last thing to do is rest and trust God. Madam, rest. Rest. Enter into the rest. Don't stress
It's
yourself. Yes,
female.
you have full therapy. You are praying already. You have talked to the person. You have believed the moment. You have screamed. You have cried. So tell me, what else do you have to do? You've prayed. So rest. It's as
Yes.
simple as that. You know, trust God. First Peter 5:7 says that we should cast our cares upon Him. You care about yourself, so cast yourself upon Him too. Let Him care for you. Cast your worries upon Him. Let God care for you. Matthew 11:28-32. If you have been, you have a yoke upon you that is so heavy, He said you should come and He will give your soul rest because it's
Yes.
what is not His life. So enter into rest. Come to Jesus. It's going to give your soul rest. That is the only place where there is healing. My dear, I'm not going to deceive you. There is no healing somewhere else apart from Jesus. Jesus is the originator
Yes.
of emotional. He can heal you emotionally. You think Jesus was not hurt too? Jesus came in human form. People hurt him. They said because I was even doing good. Not to now talk of people you that
And
okay,
he
there are times that
encountered
you do good, there are times that you do bad.
siblings. He had every kind of rivalry. There was a book I read. It was the name of the book was The Crown and the Thorns. It was a
Okay.
very rare book. I just bought it and it was highlighting each biblical characters and what they will have to go through. And imagine Joseph is human. Even if he knew that Jesus was the son of the living God, there's still that part of him that wants to be like, this is not my child and all that. Even if it has to be contained that because this is God. And his brothers had
Mm-hmm.
to be lying because that story, the mythical story that this is God and all that. So maybe it was more preferred and all those kind of things. So yes, I can really connect that to what you're
Yeah,
saying.
back to the story of Joseph. Do you know that Joseph was human too? You saw what Joseph did to his brothers when they came to
Yes,
buy things from him. You saw what he did. That was the human part of him. The Bible even recorded
yes.
that he went somewhere and he cried. So if Joseph is crying, why can I not cry? Even Jesus wept.
A
So why
loud
can I not
cry
cry?
that everybody in the palace heard.
Exactly. So it's normal for you to no. It's a lot. It's a lot. So
I think
enter into your
crying is
rest.
therapeutic.
Yes, it is. It is like you are letting go, you are releasing something. So it is very important that you cry if you have to. So rest, enter into your rest and trust God. Conclusively, I like to say that prosperity of the soul is one of your inheritance from God. It's one of your inheritances from God. Claim it. Don't allow the devil to rob you of it. Wage war against him to get what is yours. In the book of 1 John chapter 2, it says that God wishes that we prosper, even as our soul we prosper and be in health. Health, emotional health is there. Even as our soul prospers. So it is all encompassing. God desires that our soul prospers. He desires that we are healed of every form of emotional wound. So it is very, very important that you allow God to see he wants to carry you, he wants to hug you, he wants to help you heal, he wants to walk through the process with you. He does not want to leave you to bear the cross alone. He wants you to cry to him. When I was healed of bitterness, there was a time I was very bitter. When I was healed, I didn't know. It was one of the exercises that I took, and the exercise contained that I had to beat the person that hurt me. And that was very painful. Like, why would I just leave money from my salary and go and give somebody that has hurt me? So I did that. And I think that was a very life changing moment for me. I didn't know. I didn't think that things were beginning to get tough little by little.
Yes.
I would now pray for the person very well. I could now I'm like, wow, something has changed. So when and I had to do that exercise along my colleagues about people that have hurt them, and I wasn't acting the way I would have acted before. And I'm like, God, you've done it. You've saved me. You've done it. Thank you, Jesus. So I know it. I know my name. That God is willing to heal you. He wants to heal you. He desires to heal you because it is when you are healed that you are whole and you can fit for the assignment. If as long as we are in this body, we still have this body and our soul. Yes, God is blessed with your spirit and all those stuff. But this body, this soul, they are a vessel also. They are a vessel unto God, a living sacrifice. We have to present them holy and acceptable unto God. And emotional healing is one of those things. If not, like you keep saying, you will bleed on the people that they hurt you. And how would you want to keep people the excuses that somebody hurt you? You have to live above that. And I pray that God is going to help us in Jesus' name, and He will open our process in the name of Jesus. So
So I have some
here we are.
questions. I have
All
some
right.
questions. So, unlike
Okay.
when a breakup, when there is a breakup, so chances are you're not seeing this person as often as you want to avoid the person until your healing process is complete. So, what would you advise for families that it's family, you can't go anywhere, especially when you're underage, you're not going to the university yet as it is typically in Nigeria. So what will you advise such a person to do? Because you're seeing this person that hurt you, chances are you don't even understand the emotions that are going on within you. So what advice will you give to somebody in that context?
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you have the opportunity to travel far away from that vicinity at that moment, like you said, probably you already have an apartment or you're in school, or you want to go to church or you're busy with someone else or something else, maybe work or something. Use that opportunity. Use it very well. Go there, pour out your heart. Maybe they already did it. But you are under custody and you really don't have somewhere to travel to, you don't always have to be in the house when the person is at the house. But let's even assume that okay, the person, one of you will still come home together at night. You can reduce for the sake of your soul, you can reduce your closeness with the person for the meantime. You give people access to your life and people cannot really pass beyond what you want them to be to you once you build that shield in your heart. So because you know that you are healing, it is important for you to put a boundary to your relationship. Yes, you will eat together as much as you remember the person was still alive. You won't allow it to to get to you at that point. Yes, we'll eat together, yes, we'll feast together or even dance together. But when it comes to some issues of the heart, when it comes to some things I know that if I talk about this thing, it's going to remind me of the pain, or if I talk about this thing, I'm going to hurt this person, then you want to cut boundaries in that aspect. You do not have a total control on the situation. Just make sure that the aspect of your life that makes you very vulnerable, shield yourself for the meantime until you are properly healed. Shield yourself. Do not give them a total say on that aspect until you are able to shield. And part of this process also is endurance. That's where the process of endurance and patience comes in. So you also have to endure, you have to be patient with the process, trusting God to fix it in due time. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Yes, I have another question because I'm really passionate about people healing from the process, not just knowing that something is wrong or they are sick, as it were. So, what advice? Because when you're having family issues, there's a message our spiritual father preached, and he was highlighting why some people are unable to connect with certain other significant people in their life because of these family issues, that something that has gone on foundationally with them. So how do we help these people understand their emotions and begin the process of healing? And also, how best will I put this? Because, okay, take for instance a girl that has daddy issues. Maybe her dad is harsh, unwelcoming, so she cannot express herself with him. So then you have a spiritual father. Do you understand? and you're unable to connect with him. He's trying to reach out, but sometimes you misunderstand the corrections and all this. So how do we help such a person? What advice will you give to such a person? Because relationships like that, they are pivotal, and sometimes if you don't heal on time, you will not be able to make the best of that relationship, and before you know, you are stuck somewhere and the purpose for that relationship will not be achieved. So what advice will you give to this person to help aid their healing process and help them maximize such relationships around them? Do
Okay,
you get my
thank you.
question now?
Yes, I get the question. You know, when I was talking about the symptoms of healing, I talked about being critical about relationship, and so I think that question falls under this. When you already imagine that sometimes it's just even beyond you, but because of the way you've been treated, you just feel like if I'm vulnerable with this person, something is going to happen to me, and you are just scared. Like that part has really entered into your soul that you don't even know how to act better. So if you are the person that you are critical about relationship, the very first thing you should do is one, pray. Let me start from there.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
true.
believe it is God that has brought this relationship into your life for a specific purpose. And so that the name of God will be glorified, you have to talk back to God and tell him this is what is going on. Pray. And in the process of praying, God is going to send you help. There are times that you just stumble upon materials that you don't even know. There are things that you stumble upon this Instagram life like this one, and you just even know that wait, how did I even get here? So that's why I said it's very important for the person to pray. Then on the other person's end, is the other person has to understand what she has gone through. So one of the things that make relationship very sweet is vulnerability. If you are not vulnerable with someone, you won't go find a relationship. That's the truth. So no matter
Yeah.
how maybe shaming that it looks like, okay, maybe I have that issue or stuff, you have to let the person know. So that when the person is relating with you, the person can understand that okay, this person is coming from this aspect. There was somebody that got married and we had to tell the person that husband will be careful. You know the kind of home this lady is coming from. If you do anything, she will automatically think that you're acting like a father in co. So both the husband and the wife, they have to sit down and let themselves know that, babe, if I'm doing this to you, I'm not your father. I'm just doing the right thing. And the other person too has to be
Yeah.
telling herself over and over again that he's doing the right thing. He's not my
Yeah.
father. He's doing the right thing. He's not my father. So you yourself, you have to bring yourself to the place of understanding of what relationship entails. And a successful relationship entails that you are corrected, entails that you have times where you be angry or you
Honestly.
feel like if not for things that happen, you will be talking to me, would you be talking to me this way and stuff like that. So it's very important that both of you understand the concept of relationship, and the other person is
Yes.
trying to help you not to think that you are his father. You also have to understand that
That is
understanding is
God.
very, very key. Put your fears, put it aside. Thank God you are listening to this now. Put your fears, put them aside. Put your battles and everything, put them aside. Don't be suspicious of people because that's one of the issues. We are just suspicious unnecessarily that this person is going to do this for me and we are overly defensive. So as much as you are praying, you have to rewire and recondition your mind to the right things by saying it, by if you want to paste it everywhere that this person is not my father, this is not going to hurt me, or these are the things that relationship entails. It is normal to be corrected. Paste it everywhere. You're the one that knows the battle that you are fighting in your mind, though. Just paste it where you can see it. Put it in your mind. Because it's really a mind issue. I have to re-engineer your
Yes.
mind to the norm, to the normal thing. So it
Yeah.
is now that you know the good thing, now that you know our relationship and everything, it is important that consciously you bring it's not easy, but consciously you bring yourself to that realization. For example, now, if you are somebody that they taught you that maybe trying to look for a very awkward example. Okay, when you wake up in the morning, you were taught that just stand up, go and do whatever you want to do. But when later in life, they tell you that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing to do is to lay your bed. You know that there are a lot of times that you still stand up and go about doing your life without laying your bed. But most times, you have to consciously tell yourself, in fact, you will set alarm. You know what? Prepare, lay your bed. Sticky notes, you write it, paste it at the end of your bed. Lay your bed when you wake up. What are you doing? You are trying to re-engineer your mind to do the right thing.
Re-engineer your mind.
Yeah. So it's the same way. You have to re-engineer your mind to know the right thing. But if you don't even know the right thing, how would you have? So it's important for you to start from knowing the right thing to do. Then number two, teach yourself. This is this life now. You have to learn, relearn, and unlearn. So you have to relearn those things, unlearn the bad things that you have, relearn it, and know that okay, this is the right thing. And surround yourself with tools that will help you to understand. That will help your new construction easy, to make the journey easier. So your construction is now easier. You can now you have things all around you, reminding you of what the normal thing should be. So that's how to go about that. I hope I got your question answered.
Yes. And one people get out of that pity cycle.
Okay.
That pity, because it's quite as annoying as it seems, sometimes they can't help themselves. It has turned into a broken record. It's because of this, it's because of this, it's because of this. They've turned into the best mathematicians. They can just link whatever is happening with whatever that has happened and just give it as an excuse for them not becoming who they ought to be, speaking the way they ought to, loving people the way they ought to, committing to relationship, even to marriage the way they ought to. So how do we help?
Okay. I think that I've actually answered the question stylishly in previous question too, but I'll say it again. Number one, I want all the person to know that their excuses will not last forever.
Mm.
The moment you know that this excuse will actually not last forever, there's a way you re-engineer the mind.
Mm.
There's a way it changes your thinking. Just knowing that alone helps to change things. So tell them that number one, this excuse will not last forever. Number two, show them models that have gone through the same thing. That's why people turn their God turned people's mess into messages. There is nothing you want to go through in this time that somebody has not gone through before. Show them
Even
models,
worse.
even worse. So what are we saying? Show them models. As much as if they now know that their excuses are not valid, and they are now seeing people who are working in this thing, and they already see how their lives have turned. Oh, I was raped, but look at me today. Oh, I was abused, but look at me today. Oh, something happened to me, but look at me today. If they see people like
Hmm.
that, then they will motivate them. So you want to help them to look for models that have gone through that kind of thing, so that they can be encouraged to not put in the work
To
that is
know
needed.
that they can
So
endure.
exactly. So the re-engineering can now come back again. Then as much as we can keep praying for the person for God to speed up the healing process. But it's very important that they see people that have gone through this thing. You know, there's this feeling of you saying that so this person still went through this thing. Even if you have the opportunity, you sit down and you start gisting with the person how the thing went, and you're like, oh, your own is even this was I didn't know. I thought my own was or stuff like that. So it's very important that you help the person to see models, pray for the person, and I think I mentioned one other thing. Help them know that their excuses will not be valid forever. Then encourage them to come out of it in any way you can. If you see books, you see podcasts, you see whatever thing you want to do, just encourage them. So that's it.
Wow. See, I told you guys that you'll be fed. And you're on a journey. You're on a journey. And I'm going to leave the
I, I,
video here.
I actually wrote something. I have a confession, but I don't know
Hmm.
how we're going to do about it. It's one of the things that is also in my book. There's a
Okay.
path for confession that you can take over and over again till it becomes your
Ooh.
reality. So if you are watching this later, if you are watching now, you can just say amen to all of these things, or you say them as I'm saying them. So if you are watching later, say them as I'm saying them. If you want to write it down and make it your reality. Okay, so this here we are. Father, thank you for sending me this resource at such a time like this. Thank you for ordaining this time long before I was born. Thank you because you are intentional about me and you are touched by the feeling of my infirmity. You are a friend that sticks closer than a brother. You are a burden bearer and you have never left me nor forsake me when I know it and when I know it's not. Thank you for always being with me. Thank you because you delight in healing the brokenhearted. Thank you because a broken heart and a contrite heart you will not despise. Today, I forgive those that have hurt me. I forgive my father for being heartless. I forgive him for losing the emotional connection we're supposed to have. I forgive my father, if what your mother is with your mother. I forgive my mother of her insensitive words, favoritism, ungodly behavior, unloving acts, irresponsibility, and all sorts of inactions towards me. I release myself from every pain, fear, bitterness, anger, resentment, loneliness, stubbornness, addiction, and every other thing resulting from this emotional wound. And I'm restored from every form of abuse. I exchange my hardship for beauty. The Lord is rebuilding my broken heart. He is restoring me to a place of wholeness and dignity. I receive healing from everything that my family has taught me. The ones he knows, they know, and the ones they do not know. I am delivered from bitterness, delivered from anger, delivered from depression, delivered from evil words. For my sake, Jesus was broken, and for his transgression, I am bruised for my iniquity, and the chastisement of my peace is upon him. I have received complete healing from my mental torture and oppression. I have received healing from my blurriness, confusion, uncertainty because of my emotional wound. I declare that I arise and shine because my light has come and the glory of the Lord has risen upon me. Weeping has endured all night for me, but alas, it is my morning. I repent of every bad name I called myself, but for I am a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a peculiar nation. I am born into God's light. Every other name that is not in alignment with God's word, I nullify their impact over my life. I am no longer forsaken. I am not desolate. I am excellent and dreamer. I am not broken. I am not frustrated, messed up, unloved, gullible, backward, irrelevant, or foolish. But I am royal, I am precious, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am focused, I am loved, I am wise, I am successful, I am light. I illuminate my work. I become a beacon of light and hope to everyone I talk to. I am no longer a mess, but I bear a message and I am an example of God's loving kindness. I am a small one who has become a mighty nation. I am a person of great grace acceptance. I begin a new cycle and I do not repeat the mistakes of my parents. For all things have become new. I declare that it's the beginning of a new dawn for me in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Do you know I was just about to tell you that okay, we should do a prayer for, but then the spirit is one. You've already given them,
Yeah,
and you
praise
didn't
the
just
Lord.
pray over them. You gave them the word. You gave them a weapon to
Yeah,
fight with. Wow, I'm so grateful, ma'am. I'm so
thank
grateful.
you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, ma'am, for blessing us,
God be
experiencing.
praised. That's such a privilege to be here. Thank you for bringing me up. I am very excited. I'm glad about what God is doing. Thank you for yielding to God. Thank you for organizing this. I know that everyone seeing this have been blessed one way or the other, and everyone that will see this will still be blessed. Thank you so much for bringing me up. I love
Thank
you. Thank you.
I love you too. I love you and Paola. Please, Evan Key Paola. Evan Key
All
Paola.
right, all right, all right.
Thank you so much, ma. We're truly grateful for the gift of you and for releasing yourself to bless us, to be yielded enough, and to trust us enough with your experiences that has helped us, and is going to help so many others out there find themselves, understand themselves, and become who God has called them to be. I truly celebrate God's grace upon your life, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I celebrate you too.
Please, oh, what do we say to Lady Fair? We love you. We love you.
Thank
We
you.
love
I'm
you.
already feeling the love
We
of the
love you.
conversation. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.